Welcome to grade 7 and 8 CBC Music. In this lesson, we talk about intervals in music and we will focus on perfect, major, and minor intervals. Intervals. An interval is the distance between any two pitches. It can also be defined as the difference of pitch between two notes. Take note of the word distance. Interval is identified using two variables, its quantity and its quality. By quantity, it means you will be able to count the distance between any two pitches. Quality is what will define how the sounds made when the intervals are used vary. So it may have the same number in terms of distance, but the quality of the sound will be different. In the lesson, you are going to understand what we mean by quantity and quality of an interval. We start with quantity of intervals. When we talk about quantity of intervals, we also talk about numbered intervals. So you can either find it written as numbered intervals or quantity of intervals. And in quantity of intervals, every letter name is assigned a number. The letter representing the lowest pitch is usually assigned number 1. For example, if we named on the keyboard here C, there's a moment, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, let's end with C. So if we are talking of C being the lowest note that we want to consider, then this will be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and so on. If we decide G to be the starting note, then G will be number 1, then A number 2, B number 3. It's not fixed that C must be number 1. However, the numbers are usually assigned based on which letter is being considered as the lowest note. So, if we considered C and D, we have two letter names. Letter 1 starting with C, letter 2 starting with D. So the interval between C and D will be called a second. Why? It is a numbered interval. It is only involving two letters. Letter C as 1 and the letter D as 2. We call it a second. In the next section, we want to look at how to number the intervals. So get ready, have a pen and paper. We work them out together for your understanding. Numbering of intervals. When we start the numbering of intervals, let's consider first the same letter. I will start by labeling C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, B, A, G, F. So I have used these letters intentionally for us to understand the numbering of intervals. Let's start with any. And the simplest one we can start with C. If we consider C as the starting point, let's consider this C. It takes 1. So the distance from C to the same C, when you are on C and you move to the same C, or when you play C twice, the gap between the pitch will be the same. Remember, we defined it as the distance between any two pitches. So if you play a C and play a C again, the same C, not high C, we said you have played 2 notes which are in unison. They'll sound the same. You haven't moved. The 2 sounds are in unison. Let's consider C to D. You play C, then you play D. So you call this 1, and then D becomes 2. So the gap in between them will be called a second. Let's still consider C. We go to E. So we'll be having C is 1, D is 2, E is 3, and therefore we call it a third. Let's consider C to F. So if you play a C, and play an F, the gap in between them is 1, 2, 3, and 4. We call it a fourth. C to G, your guess is as good as mine. G is letter 5 from C, fifth. C to A will be a sixth. C to B will be a seventh. And C to high C will be what we call an octave, written as 8VE, octave, from the lower C to a higher C in pitch. They can be represented also in an alternative manner. For example, a second is written as this way, a third is written as this way, a fourth is written as this way, we have a fifth, we have a sixth, we have a seventh, then the octave means this. We only considered C. Does it mean we only use C? No. Next part, let's consider using a different letter or different letters for a start. And this is where you need to use your biro pen and your paper to practice. It's not erasing in time. I will leave the letter names on the screen so that you can use them. Let's consider the following intervals. For example, if we are numbering, how about if we started with F, the F we are seeing here, F. When you play F and F, it's the same. Please give the name. If you're playing F and D, if you're playing let's start with a different one. A and E. If you are playing B and G, please give the intervals, the numbered intervals. If you are playing, for example, we start with A, B, how about if we started with a D? D and F. How about if you are playing E and C? These are just for learning purposes. Take a moment, fill them out. We want to start looking at them. Well, I hope you have attempted. It's now time to look at them. F and F is the same. Unison. F and D. F is 1, G 2, A 3, B 4, C 5, D 6. So this is called a sixth, or rather you could write sixth. A and E. A takes 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a fifth. B and G. B takes 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the interval is a sixth. D and F. D takes 1, E2, F3. This is a third, or rather you could write it as third. E and C. E takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is a sixth, or rather I could still call it a sixth. You can try with any later name as long as you are able to identify what type of interval or what number of interval it is. These ones are called numbered intervals, and you will remember that they use numbers other than unison. So you don't say unison is 1. And the best way to figure them out is if you are playing one note at a time. You play a B followed by a G. That will be a sixth. And consider B being the lowest note. Consider here D being the lowest note. So at this level, we are considering that the first letter is the lowest note. Next, we move on to quality of intervals. Quality of intervals. They are obtained by counting the exact number of semitones. You count, and it has to be the exact number of semitones between the two pitches you are talking of. Then, when talking about quality of intervals, we usually categorize them as major, minor, perfect, diminished, or augmented. However, for the purpose of this lesson, we will focus on major intervals, minor intervals, and perfect intervals. How do we identify the nature of the intervals? We start with perfect. You will know that an interval is perfect if it's a unison, it is a fourth, a fifth, and octave. They are called perfect intervals. So all unison, fourth, fifth, and octave are perfect intervals. It simply means unison, fourth, fifth, and octave do not have majors or minors for your level. They do not have majors or minors. They're just called perfect intervals. Unison, fourth, fifth, and octave. Next, major or minor intervals. So seconds, thirds, sixth, and seventh are not usually perfect. So in this case, they can either be major or minor intervals. Seconds, thirds, sixth, and seventh can be major or minor intervals. The qualification is based on the number of semitones between the given pitches. So you could have a major second or a minor second. The difference between the major second and minor second will be the number of semitones. You can have the major seventh or the minor seventh. The difference between major and minor will be based on the number of semitones. In the next section, we are going to look at how we count the semitones to determine whether it is a major, minor, or perfect. We start with identifying the nature of intervals, in this case, perfect unison. How do we identify the perfect unison? Here, you identify it by having two identical notes. Of same pitch. So you do not consider the octave. If it is a C, for example, it's playing a C and a C of the same pitch, playing a G and a G of the same pitch, playing an F and an F of the same pitch. You could also play a G sharp and a G sharp of the same pitch. That's how you identify a unison, and in this case, it is called a perfect unison. How do we identify a major second? A major second usually has two semitones. A major second has a gap of two semitones. For example, let's consider having a C. Up here we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and a C. So if we are starting with a C, for instance, if I start with a C and move two semitones, C, one semitone, two semitones, I land at D. Because there are two letter names, becomes a second. But the quality of the second will be major because it has two semitones. And so we call it a major second. When naming it, you call it quality, then quantity. This is how we identify. The quality, it is a major. A major what? A major second. Therefore, CD is a major second. How do we identify from the same a minor second? Since we are still on CD and we're talking of a second, it simply means if we're having a C, then the second one will be a D. However, the quality will be determinant on the number of semitones. In this case, we may have to introduce flats and sharps. So if you move a semitone lower than the major second, in this case, a minor second will be having one semitone. In this case, you are moving from C to D flat. A semitone lower than a D. C to D flat. We're having two letter names, C and D, but we have reduced the semitone from major, which are 2 to 1. So one semitone, which means it is now a minor. We call it, so here we're going to have C to D flat, a gap of one semitone, and we call it a minor second. Is it only locked to the key of C or to starting with C? No. Let's try it out with other letters. As I erase, try with your pen. Try to work out a few before we go to guided discussion on the same. Fine. I hope you've tried something. Let's still label our keyboard C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And this one can be also done this way. So let's pick randomly, and in this case, let me pick because you started with a C. Let me pick a G. So unison will be G and G, same name, same letter name, same pitch. Perfect unison. Major second from G. Major second from G. We have a G, or let's start with this G. We need two semitones, 1, 2. So that is G to A. Minor second has one semitone from G to A flat. G to A flat. That's a minor second. How do you notice? Here there's only one semitone, and here there are two semitones. Let's pick a conspicuous one which is interesting for us to learn. B. If you play B followed by a B, this is a perfect unison. How do we play a major second? We start with a B. We need two. So B to C, one semitone. Then C to C sharp. Because we need consecutive letters. From B, you need to have a C. But in this case, we're going to have a C sharp because we are ascending to give us two semitones. 1, 2. B to C sharp. That's a major second. To get a minor second, we subtract one semitone. So just B to C, one semitone. B to C. Do not skip this to say B to D flat. Already, when you're considering the major, B to D will be 3 letter names. Each letter name has to be accounted for. I hope you've gotten the basic concept. You can try out working from each and any other later. We proceed on to the next bit, major third. A major third will be having 4 semitones. 4 semitones. If you're having a major third with 4 semitones, subtract 1 and you'll get 3 semitones for a minor third. So the trick is simple. Get the major, subtract 1 semitone, you get the minor. For example, let's start with our usual C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you continue. So from C, the third letter name, because C is number 1, D is number 2, therefore the third letter is E. We need to consider C to E. 1 semitone, 2 semitones, 3 semitones, and 4 semitones, which qualifies 4 semitones. Therefore, we call it C to E. Subtract 1 semitone. So we're going to have 1 semitone, 2 semitones, 3 semitones. So if this is C, then we have D. We can't repeat D, therefore the next becomes E flat. A semitone lower than E, we have lowered it by a semitone. We've subtracted the last semitone to make them 3. So we have C to E flat. Let's consider a different later, and we can consider maybe moving from F. It's random, not with any specific order. If F gets 1, G gets 2, A gets 3, B gets 4. Major third, we need F, G, and A. But we need to confirm the number of semitones. So it will be from F to somewhere A, but to determine the nature of A, whether it is flat or sharp, count 4 semitones. From F to here, 1 semitone, 2 semitones, 3 semitones, 4 semitones. This agrees to the concept of 4 semitones. Minor third, subtract 1 semitone. So stand at A where you stopped. Then subtract 1 semitone. Lands on A flat. So this comes from F to A flat. Let's start with a B. It's a very interesting one. If B gets 1, let me change the color of ink. If B takes 1, C takes 2, D takes 3, E takes 4. So we start with a B. B major should have 4 semitones. So we try 1 semitone, 2 semitones, 3 semitones, 4 semitones. So we don't just land on a D, which is a third, but we land on a D sharp, 4 semitones. If we deduct 1 semitone lower from D sharp, we come back to D. So B to D is a minor third. That means if you play B and D, you are playing a minor third. If you play B and D sharp, you are playing a major third. The gap between the two pitches will be major. Next, we look at development or identification of perfect fourth. We start with a rule. For a perfect fourth, we need 5 semitones. If you subtract 1 from 5 semitones, it means you're going to have something else which will be studied later. Not for your level. The same happens to perfect fifth. Let's first consider perfect fourth. Label C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Let's start now not with C, but with a different letter. Let's start with G. If we start with G, G takes number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're expecting to land on a D, which is 5. Let's consider perfect fourth, we land on the 4. Perfect fifth, 5. We first focus on fourth. Are they 5 semitones? So G, 1 semitone, 2 semitones, 3 semitones, 4 semitones, 5 semitones. So G and C make a perfect fourth. Let's also consider a different letter name. Suppose we are starting with a D. So D takes 1, E2, F3, G takes 4. Does it agree to 5 semitones? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. So D to G gives us a perfect fourth. Let's make it more interesting and consider C flat. This will be C flat, a semitone lower than C. If we started with C flat, then we should have 5 semitones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It lands us on an E. E. Remember, the same would apply if you start with a B, because C flat is a B on the piano. They are what we call enharmonics. Lastly, someone asks us to start with an A. Yes, if we start with an A, we need 5 semitones. This is an A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We land on a D. That's a perfect fourth. You can always count 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you determine whether it is perfect or not. Perfect fifth. For it to be a perfect fifth, you need 7 semitones. How? Let's start with the G that is above here. Let me erase the previous working. Numbering, we need 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's okay. But if you're landing on a D, how do we know it is a perfect fifth? The condition for perfect or for the quality of an interval, we said we must count exact number of intervals. So we start with the G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do we land on a D? Yes. G to D. That's a perfect fifth. If you count the letter names, starting with G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it is a fifth. But what quality of a fifth? It is a perfect fifth because it meets 7 semitones. Let's use a letter that's not here. Let's try if we started with an F. We need a perfect fifth. So we should know that we need 7 semitones. And F starts from here. So 1 semitone, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We will land at C. And that gives us a C. Perfect fifth. We pick another letter that we did not use here. Let's have a look at what's G, A. We can start with a B. Yes. If we start with a B, which is the same as C flat, B is 1. We need 7 semitones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We land at F sharp. And that's a perfect 7th. The last one we can try. Let's start with an E. If we start with an E, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We land at a B. That's a perfect 5th. Next, identifying major 6th. Major 6th should have 9 semitones. Major 6th should have 9 semitones. Because a 6th has a minor, it means minor 6th should have 8 semitones. Let's try them out. Let's start with a C. 9 semitones from C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It lands here. Which note is that? C, D, E, F, G, A. So these are 6 letter names, are they? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, it is a 6th. Which quality? Having 9 semitones, we call it a major 6th. C to A. If these are major, then subtract 1 semitone. We land on A flat to make it a minor 6th. Let's start from a B. We count 6. B is 1, C, D, E, F, G. So if B is 1, 2, C, 3, D, 4, E, 5, F, 6, G. So to make it a major, we need 9 semitones. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Does it end there? No. 8 semitones means we are in a minor sixth. So to make it a major sixth, we add one more semitone and we land on G sharp. But now B to G is a minor sixth. Lastly, let's try out B, A, G. Let's try out the G. We need 6 letter names. So we'll be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We should land at an E. What nature of it is to make it major or minor? To make it major, we need 9 semitones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We land on E itself. So G to E is a major sixth. If you deduct one semitone, leads us one semitone below E, G to A flat. Next, we identify major seventh. And for major seventh, we need 11 semitones. 11 semitones. Let me write ST to mean semitones. Being a major, it can have a minor. We deduct one semitone, so for a minor seventh, we need 10 semitones. How do we go about it? Let's start with C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, B, A, G, F. So we start with a C. If we start with a C, we need 11 semitones. We count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we land on a B. So C, an interval of C to B is a major seventh. We deduct one semitone from B, we land on a B flat. So C to B flat is a minor seventh. Let's start with an E here. Good. We count 7 letter names. E is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I am mixing the approaches so that you find one that is easy for you to identify. We need a seventh, so from E, we need to land on a D. That is the numbered interval. However, how do we know the quality of the numbered interval? How do we know whether it is major or minor? This is when we need to count the exact number of semitones. So yes, we need to start from an E and end up at a D. But which D? We count from E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We need 11 to make it major. So we add one more semitone, we land on a D sharp. Pay attention to that. So if we deduct one semitone from D sharp, we learn from E to D gives us a minor seventh. How do we know it is a perfect octave? A perfect octave will have 12 semitones. 12 ST. If you do not use semitones, you can also have same letter name. Same letter name, but different pitch. For example, C to high C, that is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. Are they 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 semitones. That's a perfect octave. Look at G to G, higher G. I'm using apostrophe to mean it is a higher G to separate it from unison. Let's start with this G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do we land on a G? Yes. Use that approach to help you identify the nature of intervals. You can attempt this quiz. Take a moment, pause the video. Which intervals do these pairs of notes make? You can use the keyboard on the video if you do not have to have access to one. Well, I believed you paused and attempted. Now we go through it. We have C to E, C, D, E. It is supposed to be, so C to E is supposed to be a third. But what type of a third? How many semitones are there? To get a third, a major third, we need 4. Consider this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a major third. E to F. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So E to F, 1, 2. This is a second, but E to F, the two letter names are consecutive, so it's going to give us a second. What quality of a second? How many semitones? 1. Only 1 semitone. That's a minor second. Counter check if you got it. G to B. G is 1, A is 2, B is 3. So G to B is supposed to be a third. But what quality of a third? Count the number of semitones. 1, 2, 3, 4. If it has 4, G to B, that's a major third. Hope we are progressing well. Next, we need to attempt A to D. A to D. As I erase, I hope you've attempted. If you made a wrong, please make the correction. F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. A to G. A, 1, A takes 1, B 2, C 3, D 4. So A to D is supposed to be a fourth. However, what type of fourth it is? For us to have a fourth which is perfect, then we need 5 semitones. So A to D, count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a perfect fourth. B to D, count. B is 1, C2, D is 3. So we're going to have a third. Is it major or minor? Count. 1, 2, 3. So if we are having 3 semitones, it is a minor third. Lastly, A to C, count. Let's use this one. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. It's going to be a third. Root nature, 1, 2, 3, minor third. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Please do not forget to hit the subscribe button, share the video, like, comment, let us interact in the comment section. If you have a section of the music theory that you want us to learn, please feel free to request in the comment section and I will make sure that we work on the lessons. Thank you for watching. See you in the next session. Bye bye.